If you're awake at 3 a.m. watching this, lock your doors, double-check your windows, and hit subscribe, because tonight's story proves that sometimes the most terrifying crimes don't happen in the dark, they happen live, in front of thousands of people who don't realize they're watching a man disappear in real time. The first 911 call came in at 3:17 a.m. Ma'am, what is your emergency? I don't know. I think I just watched someone get kidnapped. It was on a live stream. Dispatch traced the call to Portland, Oregon. The caller was shaking. She gave a name, Ethan Cole. At exactly 3:02 a.m. Eastern Time, Ethan, an independent travel vlogger with nearly 120,000 subscribers, went live unexpectedly. No announcement, no thumbnail, just a black screen that flickered to life. He was breathing hard. The camera shook as he ran through what looked like a parking structure. Concrete pillars, fluorescent lights buzzing overhead. His voice was low and panicked. "If anything happens to me," he whispered, "it wasn't an accident." Within seconds, viewers flooded the chat. "Is this a prank? Bro, where are you? Call the police." Ethan had built his audience by exploring abandoned places across Europe, old factories in Romania, empty train stations in France, even remote forests in Germany. Months earlier, he'd posted a breakdown video about the mysterious disappearance of Lars Mittink, analyzing the last surveillance footage of the German tourist sprinting out of a Bulgarian airport and vanishing into nearby woods. That video alone gained over 2 million views. Ethan had a knack for turning cold cases into gripping digital investigations. But tonight, he wasn't analyzing someone else's footage. He was creating his own. "Someone followed me from the hotel," he said between breaths. Black SUV. Tinted windows. "I thought I was paranoid, but they've been outside for 2 nights. The chat exploded. "You're scaring us. Show their license plate. This better not be fake." Then the signal glitched. For 3 seconds, the screen went black. When the video returned, Ethan was no longer running. He was crouched behind a concrete barrier. His face was pale, sweat soaking his hoodie. "They know I've been digging," he said. Digging into what? That question would haunt investigators for months. At 3:11 a.m., headlights swept across the structure. The camera caught the edge of a black SUV rolling slowly between pillars. No visible plates. No identifying marks. Ethan turned the phone toward himself again. "If I lose signal, save this. Screen record it. Please." Then a loud metallic clang echoed through the structure. The camera dropped sideways. All viewers saw were spinning lights and blurred concrete. And then, footsteps. Slow. Deliberate. The camera picked up a shadow stretching across the floor toward Ethan. The live stream ended at 3:14 a.m. No goodbye. No explanation. Just silence. By 3:20 a.m., the clip was already spreading across social media. Reddit threads dissected every frame. TikTok accounts replayed the shadow in slow motion. Some claimed it was staged. Others were convinced they had just witnessed a crime unfold live. Portland police located Ethan's rental car at 5:42 a.m. in the upper level of a downtown parking structure. The driver's side door was open. His phone was found on the ground nearby, screen shattered. There were no signs of a struggle. No blood. No witnesses who admitted seeing anything unusual. But security cameras told a different story. At 2:58 a.m., a black SUV entered the garage. Cameras captured only partial angles. The vehicle circled twice before parking out of frame from most surveillance angles. At 3:15 a.m., 1 minute after the live stream cut out, the SUV exited. No Ethan. Detective Maria Alvarez was assigned lead investigator. 15 years on the force, known for her methodical approach and refusal to chase online conspiracy theories. But this case was different, because the crime scene had 8,000 eyewitnesses. Alvarez reviewed the live stream dozens of times. She slowed the footage, enhanced the audio. At exactly 3:13 and 47 seconds a.m., just before the metallic clang, there was a faint sound beneath Ethan's breathing. A voice. Not Ethan's. It was low, almost distorted by echo, but one word was clear. "Enough." That single word shifted the case from possible publicity stunt to credible threat. Investigators searched Ethan's hotel room. Inside, they found notebooks filled with research, printed screenshots, flight records, names circled in red. One name appeared repeatedly beside a series of handwritten notes: off-books transfers, shell companies, Eastern Europe. Ethan hadn't just been exploring abandoned buildings. He had been investigating a network of human trafficking routes operating between Eastern Europe and the United States, routes that allegedly use small private aviation hubs to move people quietly across borders. And 3 days before he went live at 3 a.m., Ethan had emailed a contact inside a European airport authority asking about security blind spots in camera coverage. The same type of blind spot that existed in the Portland garage, where the black SUV had parked. Detective Alvarez felt the case tightening around something larger than a single missing person. Then digital forensics uncovered something chilling. At 2:54 a.m., 8 minutes before Ethan started streaming, he received a text message from an unregistered number. It read, "Stop now." Investigators traced the number. It bounced through encrypted servers overseas before terminating in Sofia, Bulgaria, the same city where Lars Mittank had last been seen alive before running into the forest and disappearing without a trace. Was Ethan connecting dots someone didn't want connected? Or had he walked directly into a trap? For days, there were no ransom demands, no financial activity, no digital footprint from Ethan. Then a new piece of evidence surfaced. One of Ethan's subscribers, a video editor from Chicago, came forward with a screen recording of the live stream. He had enhanced the final frame just before the feed cut out. Hidden in the reflection of a concrete pillar was something almost invisible: a partial license plate. Alvarez froze the image. 3 letters, 2 numbers. It was enough. When they ran the combination through state databases, one match came back. The vehicle was registered not to a private citizen, but to a logistics company currently under federal investigation for international trafficking. And when detectives opened the company's warehouse on the outskirts of Portland later that week, what they found inside changed everything. The warehouse door groaned as it rolled upward, metal scraping against metal in the early morning silence. Detective Maria Alvarez stepped inside first. The air was stale, industrial. Rows of shipping crates lined the concrete floor, each labeled with barcodes and destination codes. On paper, the company specialized in international freight redistribution. In reality, federal investigators had been circling it for months, suspecting it was a shell operation funneling illegal cargo through secondary airports. But no one expected this. In the far corner of the warehouse, behind a false partition wall, officers discovered a surveillance control. Monitors covered one entire side of the space. Dozens of camera feeds, parking garages, hotel hallways, airport terminals. And in the center screen, frozen on a paused frame, was Ethan. The image matched the live stream angle from 3:13 a.m. Someone inside this warehouse had been watching him, tracking him, possibly orchestrating the entire encounter. Alvarez felt the case shift from missing person investigation to organized conspiracy. Digital forensics teams began tearing through hard drives. Most were wiped clean, but one technician recovered fragments of deleted footage from the night Ethan vanished. At 3:12 a.m., the black SUV pulled into the Portland parking structure. At 3:13 a.m., 2 men exited the vehicle. They were calm, coordinated, not amateurs. They moved toward the upper level where Ethan had parked. At 3:14 a.m., the camera feed from that garage abruptly cut out. The timestamp matched the moment his live stream ended. But there was more. Recovered GPS data from the SUV's onboard system showed it did not head to a remote forest or abandoned dock, as online theories suggested. Instead, it drove directly back to the warehouse. Which meant one thing: Ethan had likely been brought there. Inside the warehouse, forensic teams uncovered zip ties, duct tape, and a discarded hoodie that matched the one Ethan wore in the stream. There were no visible signs of blood, no evidence of a violent struggle. That suggested control, planning, precision. But there was no Ethan. Then another twist emerged. Financial investigators discovered that the logistics company had direct payment links to a private aviation charter service operating out of a small municipal airport just outside Portland. Flight records revealed that at 4:26 a.m., barely an hour after the live stream ended, a privately chartered jet departed for Reykjavik, Iceland. On the manifest, the passenger list showed only 2 crew members. But thermal scans from airport security, flagged only after Ethan's disappearance made national headlines, indicated a third heat signature boarding the aircraft. Unregistered. Unaccounted for. The investigation quickly expanded internationally. Europol was contacted. Icelandic authorities began reviewing customs footage. The charter company's executives stopped answering calls. And then something even more unsettling happened. Detective Alvarez received an anonymous email. No greeting. No signature. Just a single video attachment. It was security footage from inside the warehouse, taken at 3:32 a.m. the night Ethan vanished. The footage showed him alive, seated in a metal chair under harsh fluorescent lights. His hands appeared bound, but he wasn't struggling. He was talking. The audio was distorted, but Alvarez enhanced it frame by frame. "You don't understand," Ethan was saying. "It's already uploaded." The 2 men standing in front of him exchanged a glance. Uploaded what? The email included no explanation. But as investigators scrambled to understand the meaning, Ethan's YouTube channel suddenly changed. At exactly 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 days after he disappeared, a new video appeared. No thumbnail, no title, just a black screen and 10 seconds of audio. Ethan's voice. "If this goes public, they lose everything." Then silence. The video was automatically set to private within minutes, but thousands of subscribers had already downloaded it. Alvarez knew immediately. Ethan had created a dead man switch. Somewhere, somehow, he had stored evidence. Something powerful enough to threaten a network operating across continents. Federal agents traced recent uploads linked to Ethan's cloud accounts. Most had been deleted remotely, but one encrypted folder remained untouched. It required a password. The hint attached to it read, "The forest wasn't the end." Alvarez stared at the words. The forest. Months earlier, Ethan's most-watched documentary-style breakdown had centered on the disappearance of Lars Mittink, the German tourist who ran from an airport into a forest in Bulgaria and was never seen again. In that video, Ethan had argued something controversial. He believed Lars hadn't simply panicked. He suggested the airport had blind spots, that someone could exploit surveillance gaps, that the footage the world saw might not have told the full story. What if Ethan had uncovered proof? Investigators contacted German authorities. They reopened archived files related to Mittink's case. Airport security schematics were re-examined, and buried within old documentation was a familiar name. The same logistics company currently under investigation in Portland had leased temporary cargo space at the Bulgarian airport in 2014, the same month Lars disappeared. It had gone unnoticed at the time. Coincidence? Or connection? Alvarez's team worked around the clock to break the encryption on Ethan's hidden folder. When they finally accessed it, what they found was staggering. Dozens of internal documents, payment records, flight manifests linking small private aircraft between Eastern Europe and North America, names of executives, politicians, offshore accounts, and one final video file labeled, "If I go missing." In the video, Ethan looked straight into the camera. "I started looking into disappearances that didn't make sense," he said. People who vanished near airports, near logistics hubs, and every trail led back to the same shell companies. "If you're watching this, it means they decided I was a problem." He paused. But they made a mistake. They think silence protects them. It doesn't. The video cut to scanned contracts, wire transfers, internal memos outlining how surveillance blind spots were mapped and exploited. It was enough to trigger federal indictments within weeks. Warehouses were raided in 3 countries. Executives were arrested. Private jets were seized. But Ethan Cole was never found. Authorities believe he was transported overseas in the early hours after his live stream. Interpol continues to list him as an active missing person. Some investigators quietly suspect he was killed. Others believe he may still be alive, hidden somewhere as leverage that never paid off. And then 3 months after the indictments, something chilling happened. At exactly 3:02 a.m. Eastern Time, Ethan's YouTube channel went live. No announcement, no title, just a dark screen and ambient audio, wind moving through trees. The stream lasted 11 seconds. In the final frame, barely visible, was a stretch of forest. European forest. And just before the feed cut out, a single whispered word could be heard. Enough. Authorities traced the IP address. It originated from a rural region outside Sofia, Bulgaria. The same country where a man once ran into the woods and vanished. The live stream has never been explained, and Ethan Cole's case remains officially unsolved. They dismantled the network. They made arrests. They seized assets. But they never brought him home. If you think this story was intense, you're not ready for the next one, hit subscribe so you don't miss it.